8 seconds. 8 seconds. And welcome to the CouncilCast. This is episode 35, recorded on February 6, 2018. The council is now in session, and as with every week, we'll make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit with little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything whatsoever. So joining us tonight, we have Blurry Face from Mexico.
Blurry.
And he's on a little bit of a delay tonight. So we're going to start off our first topic, though, with LiDAR.
I really think we should our first topic should be, can NVIDIA's new online game streaming service replace a gaming desktop? And I want to say, not for Silas. Not with a second delay in Mexico.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I guess if he can replace it, the question would be, though, would Silas prefer to carry around his high gaming powered desktop or play with an 8-second delay?
I'd carry a Switch, I guess.
Carry a Switch.
He'd like to play with an 8-second delay. Hey-o.
God damn it. Can we vote him off
Such
the
a long
island?
delay. There's a good possibility of that being a thing. So before, let's skip LiDAR for a second if we're just going to talk about it. I think that the gaming device thing for me as a video creator would be super fascinating if they could use the same technologies to make video editing way faster. If Premiere Pro through the Adobe Creative Suite were to use this technology to allow me to edit on the fastest machines via proxy server situation, just the way this gaming setup is working, I would be totally for that, so that I could just fly through exporting and rendering 4K, 5K, 6K video footage to make amazing videos. That would be something that I'd be interested in. But as far as gaming is concerned, I would not like to game with that in Mexico. No gracias.
No gracias.
You know, it's actually a good idea, is that because there are all of these computers, you could tap into them for video editing, because it's essentially the same idea. If you could get to a desktop and they were running, like you said, Adobe Premiere or something like that. The only issue is, how long would it take for you to transfer your files to their server? Because you'd have to edit them there.
Yeah, that would be the hard part to navigate, and
it'll just take a while.
I mean, but if you're building it off of you need fast internet to do this, then I don't know that it would be that big of a deal, because I could send over proxy files. You would send the proxy file version to their computer, so you're already sending a smaller file size at that point.
What?
And you color grade all of that, and when it comes back, a proxy file. So if there's usually when I'm shooting in 4K, I don't edit 4K on my computer. I edit 720p on my computer, and then I reconnect the 4K footage before I export.
Oh, so it doesn't just chug the shit out of the machine?
Yeah. So you'd probably have to send the proxy footage to their server and edit that. But at that point, there's gnats in here. Got it.
I mean, anyway, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the expert.
Itself is the part that needs sped up. It's the actual rendering of the final product. Is that not the case?
Yep, it is. So you would have to send the real files to them. Otherwise, it would just be a waste of time, it sounds like. But if you could figure it out, I would give it a thumbs up.
I mean, I guess, I mean, NVIDIA has been doing this now for what, quite a number of years. That
Shield.
Yeah. So I mean, they've obviously been kind of growing this for a while, and it is kind of an interesting idea that you could take like a ultrabook or something that's really thin and light, has basically no graphics power, and you could play a game on it. But I mean,
I mean, is it really going to be lag free enough for me to hop on and play Rocket League without inventing new swear words?
probably not. I mean, that's the problem. And I think that's always kind of been the problem is that, and I think the guys who are trying this is they said it's better than what it was, but if you're playing a game where you have to react pretty quickly, you're still probably going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But you could, I guess, if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's like the PlayStation Now service. I've heard it works pretty well. I'd be interested to see.
Yeah, I think that's you can get into it for free for now or something like that. It's part of a beta program, and then it's supposed to cost like $8 a month or something like that. Um, so the only unfortunate thing that I read was that because every time you log in, you essentially load into a new instance of this service. So what you do is, the way I understand it, you log in. If you already own the game on like Steam or Battle.net or Uplay, you log into your account on the virtual machine, and then it actually installs your games. So you don't have to play a catalog of their games. You're actually playing your own games.
Mm.
But the problem is that every time you log in, it essentially wipes it out. So you have to, you have to reinstall the game every single time you log into the service.
God.
Which is probably not that slow, considering they probably have the CDN in the same server room as the as their streaming service. But anyway, can it replace a high-end gaming rig or no? Thumbs down. Thumbs down. I'll give it a thumbs down because I think that mobile gaming and or high-end gaming cannot be done very well mobilely.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not until we have more power and smaller computers.
More power.
So do we want to go back to the LiDAR since this is actually pretty close to you, Silas, physically?
Yeah, I better go visit.
Yeah.
You should go find out what they're doing over there.
I'm sure they'll let me in. I mean, it's just the jungle. It'll be simple.
Well,
I'll just
stop you.
Stroll right in there, and I'll walk past
the map.
I'll walk past the giant spiders.
No.
And it won't matter because I'll be like, "Don't worry, I'm just here for the LiDAR test," and the spiders be like, "Got it."
This is an interesting way to try to find stuff, actually, because on the overhead, it makes it, like in the Twitter post the guy says, the relationship between built and natural environments has never been clearer. That's pretty apparent.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is that they some guys down in Guatemala, they took a using LiDAR, light detection and ranging method, technology to scan kind of the countryside, I would say, in that area where there's supposedly some ruins, and they found basically a whole bunch of undiscovered ruins and civilization stuff, which, like Matt was saying, is just, it's crazy to see how different it is compared to the just normal geography.
I mean, essentially, normal geography would be treated as noise, and anytime there's blips in the noise like this, like structure, that's what you're seeing. I don't know. It's an interesting way to find stuff. Is this the first time they've been using LiDAR to do this type of stuff?
I think so. I don't remember reading if it's the first time, but I think it's probably one of the largest examples that they have done recently.
Yeah, it's
largest discoveries for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I linked the article because I thought that this was just, not only was it a cool way to find stuff, but just the fact that there's still a whole bunch of stuff out there. I mean, they said they detected over 60,000 individual structures, and this stuff has all been there since like probably the 500 AD or so. So it's been there for 1,500 years, and nobody's found it yet.
Because the jungle is just like "Welcome to the Jungle," like that song.
Yeah, I know the song.
That's what the jungle's like.
Like
So
nobody's going in it, I guess. Yeah, that's the whole.
it gets worse there every day, Matt. Gets worse there every day.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, as we've been walking around, we've visited 2 Mayan ruins so far, 2 sites, and it's just really spread out. And you can tell that it was an intricate city system when it was built, and because the remains are still massive. And if there's that much still left after thousands of years, then you have to imagine what was there when it was erected. And so it doesn't surprise me at the scale that they found with the number of structures, because that seems pretty typical for what would have been built at that time. But it is amazing that it hasn't been found yet. Go LiDAR.
It'll be interesting to see what other things we can start picking out of the jungles with LiDAR. Maybe we'll finally find El Dorado.
That
or Atlantis.
Or maybe this is El Dorado.
Oh my God.
They found it.
Oh, thumbs up for finding El Dorado.
Thumbs up to El Dorado, man.
Thumbs up for sure. This is cool.
Find me some more gold. Go make me a burrito.
No. Jesus.
Oh man.
So I think that's pretty cool. Nice work.
Can I give it the coveted double thumbs up?
I feel like we need a sound clip in order for you to do that.
Oh, you want me to do that as a sound clip for you? I could probably do that.
Put it on.
So when somebody actually wants to use it, you're like, do, pew, 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 double thumbs up. I'll totally make one for you. We got this. It'll be great.
The whole CouncilCast.
Do you want actual horns going pew, 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 or
definitely.
do you want my voice doing the horns too?
Both. I want
both.
both.
You want some real horns, some real rap horns, and then in the back going pew, 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 pew.
I hope you're taking notes right now of what this sounds like so that you actually go record it, because I want that on my phone. I want it as my ringtone.
Oh, in the thing that you can press before Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Double beep 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 beep. Thumbs up.
Double thumbs up. I can't do. I'm gonna have to layer some tracks here. I can't do 2 things at once. I'm not a beatboxer.
There's probably an app for that on your phone. You'll be fine.
Get some like loop back pedals.
I fully expect this to be done by the end of the podcast.
I can't do it by the end of the podcast because we'd be in the middle of some other topic and you just hear pew 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 double. Oh man, this is stupid.
So the next topic that we've got is kind of an unfortunate thing, but with the drop of the Bitcoin and Ethereum mining lately, or at least the price of it. But Samsung has apparently announced, as we all probably know by now, Bitcoin is all being mined by specially built ASICs for that specific type of algorithm. And Ethereum, which has been kind of the next biggest up-and-comer next to Bitcoin, is, for the most part, I think, and maybe I don't know everything, but it's been mostly mined on graphics cards so far. And it was supposed to be kind of resistant to ASIC mining and everything like that. But Samsung has now said that they are making chips that are specifically designed for crypto mining. And they
friggin' time that somebody big got in the game, as opposed to just like Chinese companies throwing together a bunch of Texas Instruments chips on a shitload of PCBs and mining with those until they don't want to do it anymore because they've got their new better one, and then selling their old ones to us. Like,
right?
Ridiculous.
Well, that, and yes, what'd you say? Are we going to get our video cards back? I totally agree with that. It's driven the GPU market completely batshit insane for people that just want a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think finally with this crash of, well, maybe not finally, but with this recent crash of the mining
It's less of a
craze.
crash and more of a correction. I think it was bubbled to hell and back.
But hopefully that with that and combined with some more specific cards or processors, that graphics cards should at least become more available and not at stupidly ridiculous prices.
Did it say in the article when any of this stuff? Have they just announced that they're doing this, or are they like gonna be available next spring?
No, they just announced that they were doing this, so it's very unclear what they're actually doing per se, but they're doing something. They're probably just slapping the crypto mining thing on it and saying, blockchain, we're going to make millions of dollars.
My guess is they created a whole new chip. Like a Doritos Locos.
God. We need Sullivan to be pushing that.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't you
get sponsor
watch
money
CouncilCast and enjoy a nice Doritos Locos taco? God, he was good at that.
You can fill it with chips by Samsung.
Not those kind of chips.
So anyway, I thought it was interesting because of the Ethereum mining specifically that they state that it's going to help that. And
yeah.
Here's my question about all that though: are these chips available for the general public to buy? Can I go buy?
I mean, that would be the idea. The problem is can they make them at a rate that they're available? Like,
probably
if they're worth a shit at all, the big mining companies are gonna buy them up like crazy, and it's gonna drive the prices of them up. And yeah, I don't know.
Do you think the price of GPUs is ridiculous now? Just wait until specific crypto mining cards come out.
Yeah, ones without display outputs on them.
Oh yeah.
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 I give it a thumbs up because I want new graphics cards and I want to be able to actually afford one.
I give it a thumbs up because it's interesting, I guess.
I just am going with the crowd tonight.
Okay.
All right.
I already know how I want to vote on this one.
So this one I just pulled up this week actually. I just read this yesterday that Verizon is going to start locking its phones down again to its network. And they give a pretty shitty excuse if you ask me.
When you say lock down to its network, do you mean like won't let them hop towers? I'm confused as to what you mean.
I believe the way that I am reading this is that they are no longer unlocked phones.
Were they unlocked phones before?
So yeah, actually Verizon was probably the one who was pushing most of their phones were unlocked when you bought them. So like when the latest, I think the last couple of iPhones when they came out, if you bought it on Verizon, it was completely unlocked versus buying it on AT&T where it was locked.
I bought mine through the Apple thing and just had it as a Verizon phone. Maybe my phone's unlocked then.
It might be unlocked.
I just don't know it. I don't know how to tell.
You probably have to call them and
ask. Your Google Pixel too?
No, my old iPhone.
That
I said was a Verizon phone. Maybe that's inaccurate.
Yeah, so they were doing it, and I think like the latest Samsung phones were, and I think even LG and maybe even the Pixel, or not the Pixel, but whatever the last Nexus was that was on Verizon was. So they've been doing it for quite a few years. So now they're kind of going totally back on that and saying that they're going to start locking them because I think the issue is that they were unlocked, and so the Verizon version of the phone was more desirable to. What they're saying is that it was more desirable to thieves. And so if you had a Verizon iPhone, for example, you might be targeted more than somebody who has an AT&T iPhone.
That's such a horseshit reason.
And I'm trying to figure out how the hell somebody would know.
There's no fucking thief that's going to take your phone that beforehand is like, man, you think that bitch is using Verizon or they using T-Mobile? Like, not happening. They got 5 seconds to steal your phone from you. They're not like, no, that is stupid. Get that shit out of here.
So that's their excuse, and unfortunately, they haven't really come back and said how long it's going to be locked for, or if they'll unlock it for you, because there is the open access requirements that came out when Verizon bought the C block of the 700 megahertz wireless band that said that they can't lock the phones, or at least they have to provide a customer-friendly unlocking procedure. And so it's unclear, if they're going to lock this stuff back down, how are they going to let customers unlock? And are they going to probably start charging more money for it because of Verizon? So
you probably could unlock if you leave Verizon. Would probably be the way that you have to, like, you go to Verizon, you say, I don't want to be on your plan anymore, but I want to take my phone with me because I paid for it or whatever. Or I'm going to pay for it and then leave and go somewhere else. Okay, perfect. We'll unlock your phone now. You don't have a contract with us. You've paid for your phone. Goodbye. But while it's on the network, you can't just be done with it and then sell it to somebody else on eBay without leaving them, or buying another phone might be the other way that you can unblock it. But at that point, they're going to want to buy back or take it from you or something. So.
Yeah, but who cares if you buy a new phone and then unlock it and sell it on eBay? I mean, Verizon's still going to get the money regardless.
Yeah, it's a horseshit response for sure.
So it's a pretty shitty deal if you ask me. I mean, they're basically going back on what I would guesstimate is 5 years of keeping phones unlocked on their network. So don't buy a Verizon phone.
Yeah, no shit.
Or don't buy Verizon. Either way. Thumbs down.
Oh, I'm giving these guys the dreaded double thumbs down.
Nice. So speaking of somebody who won't get thumbs down, though, is Elon Musk.
I like how this is your highlight when the motherfucker just launched the largest rocket since the Saturn V. So.
Anyway, well, he also has flamethrowers, Matt.
But
yeah, you're right. That is more important.
Does a rocket have a flamethrower attached to it?
You know, people were buying them and then selling them at a huge uptick, just like everything else.
They haven't even shipped anything yet.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
People are selling the fucking shit before they even have it.
How many people believe that this is actually a flamethrower?
I have no idea. I haven't read really anything about this.
So I've read a little bit about it last week, and it was like,
aren't flamethrowers not regulated like at all?
Yeah, so technically you're correct. Yeah, flamethrowers are not really well regulated, at least at a federal level.
Because nobody at the federal level said, I bet the population's gonna just start buying flamethrowers. Like, the fuck are you gonna do with that? This ain't Vietnam.
But here's my bet. I bet this thing is about this big, and I bet it's like the size of one of those little lighter, or all it does is
it's the size of one
amazing.
Except it costs $500.
but it's a fucking flamethrower.
Whatever.
I guarantee that this is probably bigger than that, but I bet it doesn't do anything more than light a candle.
They sold $10 million worth of flamethrower.
Yes.
In the article they did talk about, like, they personally set the flame length to under something. I can't remember the number of feet.
Under 10 feet.
Under 10 feet, yeah.
So this far is under 10 feet.
Technically it is, yes.
That's great.
There's a video. The article talks about a video of Musk playing around with the flamethrower, and they point out that if you're looking at the flame in the video, that it's really no bigger than what you get with what they call a roofing torch. It's probably
to heat the shingles.
Yeah.
Or whatever they're heating with it.
So it's probably like a little bit bigger than a propane torch.
But the design is bad.
But it looks like a freaking flamethrower.
It does.
I still can't believe we're talking about this.
I can't wait until somebody burns their house down with one.
And not the fact that Elon Musk sent a car to space.
Matt, do you want to talk about a car going to space?
No, I already said it. People should know already.
I didn't know. What's this about a car going to space?
What are you? You can't be fucking serious.
I am very serious.
Oh my
He's
god.
been in Mexico for a week. Come on.
Do the people do the rural people of Mexico not care that Elon Musk has launched a large fucking rocket?
You know, I may have had 5, 10 conversations about it here, but I don't speak Spanish, so
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know
You would have to
if I
like
did or not.
use like gestures to talk about a rocket.
What
And
would the
really, if
gesture
you were
be?
gesturing like that, yeah, they might just think you're talking about something else. They'd send you to a shady street.
Where can I get some of this? It's really big.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh man, that happened. So SpaceX launched the second. It is the second most powerful since the Saturn V, right?
As far as I know, everybody keeps referring to it as the largest rocket, and it's the largest rocket that's currently made.
That is correct. It's not the
But
largest
it's not
rocket
the
ever.
largest
the Saturn
rocket
V still
ever.
holds that title.
Correct.
Although, if they do the BFR,
Great name, by the way.
Yeah, the Big Falcon rockets really
Yeah.
stands for Big Fucking Rocket. It will dwarf the Saturn V.
So yeah, if Silas,
And
if you really don't
instead
know,
and instead of so normal, it's their first test, their first flight test of this huge fucking rocket, and it they needed something to load to use as ballast or weight to at the front, like a payload to launch. And normally they'd launch like a block of concrete or something just as weight, but instead Elon launched his cherry red
Tesla.
Tesla Roadster with a dummy in the driver's seat wearing a SpaceX spacesuit.
Oh my gosh, I see a picture of this now.
Yeah,
This is
you should watch the launch. It's pretty kick-ass.
And they have like 6 cameras on the car, and it's going around the Earth and everything. It's actually some amazing photography.
Yeah, I mean it's not going around the Earth anymore. It's
Not
on its
anymore,
way to
but
extra Martian orbital.
Did it slingshot itself around the Earth?
I don't. They didn't use any slingshotting to get it. I think they just let it hang
The
out,
only
didn't
space
they?
term I know.
I think so.
They just let it hang out above the Earth, and then they burned.
Yeah. So they're gonna go try and land it on Mars. So when we all show up there, we have a car to drive.
The big thing is
Hopefully the battery stays charged.
The big thing is that right now they're using the Falcon 9 to launch payloads, and this Falcon Heavy that they just tested will it jacks up the amount of payload they can take in one launch by a lot, and it lowers the cost per kilogram taken to space even lower. It's more efficient. It's pretty sweet. It's actually the cheapest way to get something to space right now, as far as I know.
Well,
per kilogram.
not yet, but
I mean, the Falcon 9 was the cheapest per kilogram before,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they're just beating their own record. I don't know if
This
that's
is ridiculous.
100% true.
What is this thing? What is this thing that's landing?
What do you mean? Oh, they wait. You've never seen them land the boosters?
No.
They reuse the boosters.
Oh my gosh.
SpaceX is landing.
So
SpaceX is landing rocket boosters for reuse instead of them just like crashing into the ocean.
My favorite thing about this launch, though, is that the center, whatever you want to call it, the center tank didn't land itself because the engines didn't relight, and so it slammed into the water at what'd they say, 300 miles an hour, and totally
the center core,
and totally like exploded, and the shrapnel like destroyed the drone barge that it was supposed to have landed on, even though it didn't even hit the barge.
Oh my gosh. What camera did they use to film this car in outer space? That's what I want to know. A GoPro?
I don't know what they used.
Well, makes sense. An iPhone, that's what they used.
I forget that people outside of my bubble don't give a shit about SpaceX.
Oh, I care. I just, I'm learning about Izamal, the Yellow City in Mexico, and stuff like that. So next week.
Next week we will learn more.
Actually, I have a really cool topic for next week, so I'll tell you guys after we log off. But
yeah, definitely don't want to spoil it for all 0 viewers.
Oh, I forgot to promote it tonight. That's why we had 0 viewers.
Shit.
Oh, man.
Promote it where?
I always put it on my Facebook page.
Facebook.
Oh no! You could post it right now and be like, "We're about to go off air."
I'll just post it afterward and say, "Check out the recent episode of CouncilCast."
Great, they'll get to see your rocket gestures for how you tell people in Mexico that you want to talk about rockets.
Just don't leave your hands in your pockets while you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
Yep, that's a good idea. Thanks for the helpful advice, guys.
Elon's not in the business of making pocket rockets.
Yet.
Yet.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I think with this,
thumbs up
the
to that.
council.
Yeah, we
Yes,
never thumbs this up. I'm
that's
definitely.
true.
I got
Double thumbs
Double.
up.
thumbs up for the flamethrower for sure. I'll thumbs up anything Elon does. I'm a unabashed fanboy. Unabashed? I don't know. However you're supposed to pronounce that.
Close enough.
Unabashed.
Unabashed.
And on that sorry note, the council meeting is now adjourned. And if you liked what you saw and want to check out all the past episodes of the CouncilCast,
Nobody
you
does.
can go to councilcast.org. All the podcasts are recorded live on YouTube, but you can also find the audio files on iTunes someday. If you have a topic you would like the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on the Twitters at CouncilCast or on Facebook by searching CouncilCast.
Did you say
Thanks
Twitter?
for listening.
Yeah, we're
Twitter.
on Twitter and Facebook.
I don't even follow it on Twitter.
I don't either.
I don't even post anything on Twitter.
Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Me.